It's the last video of the week, so bet your sweet cheeks we're going to be doing a 2023 NFL mock draft, and we're going to include trades in this one, so it's going to be a ton of fun. But what's crack-a-lacking? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you're sad that this is the last video of the week, well, join us tomorrow morning for a watch-along. We're going to be looking at TCU versus Kansas. That top 25 banger. I can't wait to watch Kansas. But let's switch over here. By the way, NFL mock draft database. Most beautiful mock draft simulator right now. It's just good. You're also going to see a little promo there for Underdog Fantasy. They just included college football pick'ems. So if you're interested in whether it's weekly fantasy football leagues, college pick'ems, NFL prop bets, they got you covered. Use promo code Broshmo when you sign up. Let's go ahead, get into this, and this one's gonna be interesting. So Houston Texans, first team on the clock with this quarterback. Like, we're going quarterback easy. It's like Bryce Young, who I actually like better than Stroud, but Stroud isn't coming off the AC joint injury. You don't have to, like, with the size comparison, you're not gonna at least worry about Stroud getting hurt as you would Bryce Young. Ideal arm talent. We're gonna go with some people may deem it the safer pick. We're gonna go with CJ Stroud. But Bryce Young won't have to wait long for his name to be called, because best believe we're going quarterback here with Bryce Young for the Carolina Panthers. Just makes a ton of sense, as you know, Baker Mayfield ain't it, Sam Darnold ain't it, Matt Rule ain't it. He gonna be gone. Don't know if he'll get fired during the season. Honestly, they should have moved on last season. Hopefully they keep Phil Snow. I'm a big Phil Snow fan. I think he coaches that defense very well. Now we're on to the Las Vegas Raiders, and you know what? There's life in Derek Carr. With the top two quarterbacks off the board, we're not going to consider quarterback. There's life with Derek Carr. I know they could apparently get out of his contract early this year if they want to, but we're not going to mind with quarterback with already two off the board. Instead, we're going to pick whoever we want from Jalen Carter and Will Anderson. And since you invested money in Chandler Jones, you do have Max Crosby. Let's address the interior, and we're going to go with Jalen Carter. Philadelphia Eagles via the Saints. Philadelphia Eagles, you better be thinking them Saints. I did think about trading out of this pick, but I mean, it's Will Anderson's right there, dude. What are we talking about? Let's grab Will Anderson. He's going to be our pass rush of the future. Now, this is where I start thinking about a ton of trades, but also the likelihood, at least when the draft starts, and I operate this as if the draft had just started. This no pre-draft trades just yet. So just a lot of times you don't see draft trades in the top 10. If they do, they're coming in at like the back end of the top 10. So if you're the Steelers, you're likely stuck here picking. And I just can't neglect the corner position. I still think Kelee Ringo is the top corner on the board, so I'm going to go with him here. I think he would be a good fit to that defense there. Now we have the New England Patriots. I think it's become a bit tougher here, because it's like, man, I would have loved if Kelee Ringo was here. Do I go ahead, roll the dice on like a Joey Porter or a Christian Gonzalez, because those are the next two guys I'm pretty high on. Miles Murphy won't be bad, but Wise is playing good football right now, at least to start the year. They've also invested in him for the next 2 years. I think getting a guy next to Christian Barmore wouldn't be a bad idea, and I kind of think Brian Brazee he's a top 10 pick at this point. He's playing balls to the wall, so we're going to go with him here for the New England Patriots. Detroit Lions, man, I really didn't want to go quarterback, but it's like I contemplated maybe the corner position, but quarterback's just too much of a glaring need. You could get off Jared Goff's big contract. I know some of y'all be like, he's playing lights out, despite his turnover-worthy plays being higher than his big time throws. He's forced to throw the football because he has to throw the football. I know that defense is atrocious, but just adding a ton of rookies ain't going to solve the problem. But maybe getting a franchise guy could help alleviate that, because Goff isn't your long-term solution at the quarterback position. So I was like, you know what, if I had to pick a quarterback right now, because you look at guys like Anthony Richardson, man, he's got the tools, he's got the upside, but he's gonna have to sit. Do I necessarily want my guy to sit? Then it's like, is Will Levis in play here? I'm not in love with Will Levis. I wouldn't mind him outside around pick 20. That's kind of when I start to think about Will Levis. Tyler Van Dyke is a no-go. Tanner McKee, I absolutely love Tanner McKee, but even this, I'm like, I'm not in love with it. And I'm probably the only guy out there thinking, hey, you know what? I don't mind DJ Ukulele. DJ, let me try to get his last name right one more time. DJ Oe Ungalale. Ungalale. I think I got it. I don't know. You let me know in the comment section below. We're going to call him DJU. As long as he keeps up or keeps pace with how he's played this year, I think he's a first rounder. He feels like the guy I don't mind taking a swing at. You love what he can do mobile wise. Like, he's a guy that's gotten better, more at ease, more confident in the pocket. And he's willing to go balls to the wall. When he trusts his receivers, he's like, all right, go make a play. Go up and get the football. And he's just playing turnover free football right now. So I'm going to go with DJU for the Detroit Lions, which actually kind of sucked, because if I'm Washington, I would have loved to get a quarterback here. Again, I just don't know with the guys I'm thinking here. Like, you're going to get a new coaching staff in there likely. Will Levis, not in love with him inside the top 20, let alone the top 10. Anthony Richardson, maybe you sit him. I think there's a case to be made there. I love Tanner McKee. He's another guy that I kind of wanted to go with here, but I just wanted to stick with value. They're playing right now, Benjamin St-Juste in the slot. Kendall Fuller, they could probably move on from if they want to stick with. They kind of have a more man-heavy cornerback room there, and Fuller I just don't think lines up with that. So I'm going with Christian Gonzalez. I'm a big fan. Kid's got a lot of upside. He was on Bruce Feldman's freaks list. Now, this one was a bit tough, and if you don't see, we got the Seahawks right now. We do have the Seahawks coming up at pick 12 as well. So it's like, am I like, hey, Atlanta won't take a quarterback, maybe I'll take one a couple of spots back instead. Let me just take, for me, the best prospect available, or maybe best prospect available at a position of need, because like you're talking about guys that are just a couple of spots away on your big board here. And I thought improving the offensive line could go a long way if I'm going to do it at this pick. Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas, they're rookies. I think they've looked all right. Not terrible, but not great. But it's something to go with moving forward. Maybe I could look at the guard and center position with a guy like Peter Skoronski, who also offers that tackle versatility if I'm not content in Lucas or Cross for the future. A guy that can play anywhere on my offensive line, I kind of value. So I'm going to go with Skoronski here with the hopes at quarterback with that 12th pick. Atlanta, man, you don't have to go quarterback here at this point. If you're picking one or two, I think there's a case to be made. But if you're not, then it's like, okay, you could ride Marcus Mariota knowing he's not the future. But Desmond Ridder, you got an unknown there right now. So it's like, we don't have to do that. Miles Murphy's just sitting there. Our pass rush is dog water. We're going with Miles Murphy. The Houston Texans. This is going to be a weird pick. This is going to be controversial. And I promise there are trades later in this mock. Don't worry. I wanted to sit on this pick. I was thinking about trading down, but it's like, who's necessarily trading up? It'd be too much for any of the other teams that I would say want quarterback. It's just too much to invest to trade up. So I'm now sitting here. I'm thinking long and hard what to do. And you know what? CJ Stroud, he had a lot of success at receiver. And it sucks because I don't think he should be the first wide receiver off the board, but with the history that Jackson Smith and Jigba and Stroud have, Mechie, he can play outside. Do I like it? Not necessarily. Is he a guy that, and we don't necessarily know the timeline, like he's slated to come back next year, but still dealing with leukemia, we don't know exactly what that timeline looks like. So I'm going to go with Jackson Smith and Jigba, a guy that Stroud is familiar with. So doesn't leave a great taste in my mouth, but with the history, Stroud and Jigba, that I'm like, hey, send it. All right, now we're sitting here with the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm not going to lie to y'all, Will Levis was kind of on my mind, because like, do you want a project quarterback with well, how old is Pete Carroll? Like 71, 77, 602? I don't know. Do you want a quarterback you're gonna have to sit on for maybe a year? Maybe not, but let's just go with a high upside guy. This is about where Josh Allen went. And am I saying Anthony Richardson is Josh Allen? No, but he's got incredible tools, incredible mobility. If you have to wait for him to kind of like, I guess, come around as a passer, I think that's fine. As we saw with Greg Roman and the Ravens, they were able to do that with Lamar Jackson and ended up paying dividends early. So let's go with Anthony Richardson. We have the pick, so let's do it. Now, this is where my first trade happens, because admittedly, I don't love everyone available here for the Ravens pick-wise. So I ended up making a trade. Let's go ahead, get into our trade here. Look at that. That's nice and centered for y'all. And I did a trade with the New York Jets, because we're a couple of picks back at 17. And I would like to get an offensive tackle. And with the tackles, a lot of tackles still on the board, instead of just waiting, I want to trade up and go ahead and get my guy. Now, this trade is similar to the Houston Texans trading up, or the Houston Texans trading back and Philadelphia trading up. It's similar to that trade last year. So if you got a problem with the trade value, that's the trade I'm pulling from. So this is the trade I made. I have the Jets moving up, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to take Paris Johnson. Honestly, the best just all-around person in this draft. Honestly, it's pretty close between him, Skoronski, Jones. You could throw Olu Fashanu up in there. So I went with him. Now, with the Chargers, we want a right tackle. It sucked that Slater went down. Next guy on my board is actually Broderick Jones. He's playing actually really good football for the Bulldogs, so I'm going to go with him here. I did think about Jordan Addison. Thought that would be interesting to add to the receiving core, but I really just wanted to add more to that offensive line that's now dealing with injuries this year. You saw Filers play kind of like not plummet. He had a rough game against who was it? It was Chris Jones. So it's like not necessarily like I'm out on him, just like he had one rough game and it's kind of like hurt him this year. So he had a great 2021, so expect him to clap back later in this year. Arizona Cardinals quarterback, like this could be edge, this could be cornerback. Regardless, I think it's one of those two positions. The cornerback room is god awful. I'm gonna go with Joey Porter. He's actually a really good scheme fit for Vance Joseph. All right, now we're sitting here with the Detroit Lions. A lot of different ways we can go, mainly defensively. So the question is, what do we do defensively since we took DJU? Dude, I want to be. I need to be able to rattle that pronunciation off without having to look at it. It's like Galale. Right? I don't know. But regardless, we took DJ Ukulele. Corner wouldn't be bad, but we just saw like the top 3 corners go off the board. So at this point, we're looking at like Cam Smith, Clark Phillips. Maybe we just go with edge, because really the pass rush has only come from Aiden Hutchinson this year. I don't have a lot of confidence in guys like Romeo Okwara, Charles Harris. So I know that they got a younger guy, but if I could go ahead and just snag more competition, high-end talent at the pass rush position, I want to go ahead and do that. So a lot of names here to consider. Isaiah Foskey, high floor, great length, good run stuffer, kind of fits Dan Campbell what he would like here. I don't think guys like Nolan Smith, BJ Ojolari kind of fit what maybe they're looking for, because I mean you see how they use a guy similar in that style as Julian Akawara, and he just doesn't see the field much. Felix Anudike Uzama is kind of emerged last game, but still I feel like he's a bit ways off from becoming a first round player. Then the interested ones come here. Andre Carter, a guy you'll probably have to develop, or Jared Verse, who has been very good this year. Very good, incredible athlete. So I think for me, it comes down to Verse. It comes down to Foskey. We're here picking at 16. Do I go with, like, both guys have pretty darn good upside. I think I'm going to end up going with Foskey, though, with his ability to play the run. Just seems like a safer pick here. Now we're here with the Baltimore Ravens' first pick after they traded back. And I'm going to go with a linebacker. We get our chance to go with the top linebacker off the board. I'm going to go with Trenton Simpson. For me, it's a bit easier. Patrick Queen just, he's just like, meh, really. It's just meh. Can we upgrade from that or get someone in the near future that could play alongside him? Which you could, like, honestly, Josh Bynes, anytime he played, like, low-key, he's not a bad starter to have. He really isn't. All right, Chicago Bears. Honestly, as long as they're not picking at the top two, you don't think about quarterback. I know a lot of Bears fans hate seeing that, them go quarterback, but I think here at 18, you don't even consider it. What can we do to improve the situation for Justin Fields? And that's take the top wide receiver off the board, Jordan Addison. Not ideal size, especially since your next guy, like the guy next to him, would be Darnell Mooney. Kind of is what it is. Solve that later. Just take talented players. So we're going Jordan Addison. Now we got the Miami Dolphins, and Liam Eichenberg hasn't been great. Do I really want to consider maybe a guard here? Not really. You could talk about John Michael Schmitz at center, and then move Connor Williams back to guard. But you know what? We have, like, Greg Little's been pretty bad this year, having to step up with Austin Jackson, we still have, like, no idea if that dude's ever going to emerge. So I think I'm just going to go with tackle, and I'm going to go with Olu Fashanu, a guy that has great pass rush upside, a very, very decent mover, plays with a lot of balance. So we're going to add him to the squad. Now, this one for the Bucks, I'd be lying to y'all if I didn't consider quarterback, but I think it's, like, fine enough. I think with Jameel Dean and Sean Murphy-Bunting becoming free agents, and honestly not being able to potentially sign either one of them, you probably go corner. So I'm going to take Cam Smith. Cam Smith's been okay this year. Had to miss the Georgia game because of a concussion, I believe he sustained in the game before that. Wasn't that against, like, South Carolina State or something? I don't know, but we go with corner here. Cornerback depth is the best. All right, Indianapolis Colts. Hey, Matt Ryan, he hasn't been all that in a bag of chips this year. I really considered Will Levis, but you know what? I bet you they miss having a quarterback that played at Stanford there under center. So we're going to go with Tanner McKee. I actually like Tanner McKee a bit better than Will Levis as well. All right, Cincinnati Bengals. Like, you can do a variety of different things here. I just didn't love anything in particular. So this is where we see another trade happen, as we'll have the Dallas Cowboys trade up with the Cincinnati Bengals. Let me see, what did I what trade did I pull from? I'm pretty sure it's the I pulled from the the Chiefs trade here when they traded up to 21. So it's kind of almost this pick exact, and they gave up a third and a fourth. So the Chiefs they switched first round picks, gave up a third and a fourth to move up. That's what I'm giving it away here to move up. And if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, and a lot of y'all kind of like, hey, watch out for this pick. This might not be bad, and I love it. I'm going Bijan Robinson. Tony Pollard's a free agent. Eventually, you want to get out of that terrible contract you have with Zeke. So you have your running back of the future here in Bijan. He gets to stay in Texas as well. That's freaking a beaut. All right, Tennessee Titans. Actually, this is where I'm just going to go ahead and take Michael Mayer. They don't really have a tight end there. I know that they got Chig Okonkwo, but he's more of this like this H-back, if you will. So getting a traditional tight end that can come out there and block. And then, I mean, you see the Titans use a lot of like 2 to 3 tight end sets anyway. So Michael Mayer is just great value at this point. New York Giants. Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones, he ain't it. Let's go ahead. I feel much better about taking Will Levis here. I know a lot of the draft community, at least in terms of like the scouts and evaluators, or maybe like the NFL evaluators, they really like Will Levis, which I get it. You know, he's got some mobility to him. He's got an NFL arm. He plays in a pro style offense with a lot of NFL passing concepts. I just at this point don't love the I don't love that he doesn't necessarily always go through his progressions. The decision making's not all that great thus far, as he has more turnover worthy plays than actual big time throws. Though I will say in that Ole Miss game, second half, he looked so much better. I was like, this is why people really, really love Will Levis. So him at 24 here, I think it's just a good get for the Giants. And then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm going to go with my boy Kayshon Boutte. Listen, the receiving class, no one's really emerged thus far. And then Boutte is just a different element of what they just don't have. What I guess initially the Jags were hoping to get a Laviska Shenault. And I know that's a different coaching staff. But still, getting that guy that's just good after the catch that can create, I think is key. So Boutte, I know a lot of football left to be played for Boutte, and it hasn't looked great, but you know what he's capable of based on his freshman and sophomore seasons. The Buffalo Bills really could go anywhere, like safeties on the table. Problem is, my top 2 safeties in this class and Antonio Johnson might be out for the rest of the season with a broken hand, I believe. Let's check this out. Antonio Johnson. I want to see his status. Let's check news. Here, let's go injury update. Was it? It wasn't a shoulder. I'm pretty sure it was a hand. Oh my gosh, it's trying not to tell me anything. Jeez Louise, dude. Give me an injury. Oh, it put in Gibson instead of Johnson. All right. So let's see with Antonio Johnson. I'm going to read it from here. Blah, 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 blah. All right. No absolute update on him just yet. He didn't participate in practice this week. That's all I'm getting right now. So I don't know. Could hurt his stock. Could not. I mean, he would be a good pick here as well. Brian Branch also don't have an injury date up on him. but a guy that exited the Arkansas game with an injury. Instead, I was like, you know what? Let's go with the interior class here because the guard play has been terrible. So you could look at guys like Andrew Voorhees, Layden Robinson. I'm going to go with Osiris Torrance since he's kind of been the hot name, the hot riser as of late. So we grab him for the Buffalo Bills. That was kind of a long way to go about it. Sorry, I couldn't find the injury report. What can I say? All right, Cincinnati Bengals. They love their interior players. They really do. And currently, they love to go like 3 deep. And they really just have BJ Hill and DJ Reader. So we're going to go into that interior class that's really good. And I'm going to go with Gervin Dexter. I think it's a guy that's got a lot of versatility. And they would just love him. The Green Bay Packers. This is where I'm going to go Antonio Johnson with Adrian Amos being a free agent. Johnson, kind of the top safety right now. Him and Brian Branch are like really neck to neck, and with them both being hurt, it's kind of rough. But they go Antonio Johnson here, and now I am here with the Kansas City Chiefs. And again, this interior class is good. If they could get a big meaty boy right next to Chris Jones, I think that would be great. So we go Siaki Ika. I don't know, like, I know a lot of, like, mock drafts go offense for the Kansas City Chiefs. I just hate that. I really do. Again, with not a lot of receivers really emerging at this point, like, they got Quentin Johnston as the next guy up, but he's a guy that's hasn't really produced this year. There's just not a lot of good options. So instead, let's stick with just going with good value. And you know what's great value? Cornerback depth. And I'm going to go with a cat that I think I almost said the Rams. The Vikings would love in Clark Phillips. A bit undersized, but a guy with great instincts. Just had 3 interceptions this past weekend. 1 returned for a pick 6. Yo, talk about this cat in the first round. Because he is good. All right, Philadelphia Eagles. Well, I consider Brian Branch here. The next corners, like, you could argue maybe we just go day 2. So I think trading back's always a great answer if you're a team that doesn't necessarily have a lot of needs. I think there's a glitch right now in this mock draft simulator that won't let me trade up with this pick, but I have Arizona trading up. The pick would look like, or the trade would look like this. So basically, Philly gives their first round. Philly gets the second rounder from Arizona. They swap second rounders, so Philly would move up 19 picks, and then they would also snag the 5th rounder. But as you can see, I'm clicking this trade thing. Here, I don't know if y'all could actually see it, but I'm clicking the trade thing. It won't let it go through, though it's acceptable. So we're going to assume this is Arizona. And I'm trading it up because Arizona, we just got Joey Porter. I'm going to go ahead and grab a pass rusher. And this is where I'm taking BJ Ojolari. Now, bonus coverage. Hey, this... since it's 32 picks, essentially this is where the draft ends because Dolphins they forfeited their first round pick, so there's only 31 picks. Let's go ahead and take a look what the first pick of the second round would be, as I'm going with my boy Jared Verse. Get some pass rush, dude. I wish Jared Verse would have gone earlier. Just didn't happen. Let's go ahead and save this so we could take a gander at what we have done. And honestly, I think it's all right. Like, Keelu Ringo, like, I think he's going to be talked about as the top corner of this class. I know he hasn't been productive, but he hasn't been bad. Like, he really hasn't. Haven't seen a ton of ball skills, but, like, you know, the size, the speed, like, people are going to flock to that. You could say same thing about Christian Gonzalez, where he didn't really produce in the Georgia game, but he's been pretty good ever since. And, you know, he's like he was a Bruce Feldman's freaks list guy. Like looking at like DJU again, I feel like he's quarterback 3 right now in this class because like the other guys, there's just so many question marks. I know the NFL loves Will Levis, but it's like I'm not in love with him just yet. I know he doesn't want to be called that. Anthony Richardson, Just tools. You can't deny the tools there, you know? So it's like, you gotta imagine he's still considered a first rounder. Looking at the other like quarterbacks here, Tanner McKee. I'm absolutely in love with Tanner McKee. Will Levis, I'm not gonna like, again, outside, like once I get to like pick 20 and such, I'm thinking Will Levis. I'm really am like honestly, if I get outside of the top 15, I'm starting to think about Will Levis. And like really, Foskey may have went a bit higher than he should have in this class, but it's like when you have a guy that has such a safe floor, you look at a guy like George Karlaftis, who has played really darn well, but he kind of slipped in the draft because teams were like, we don't know if the upside's all that great. But with Foskey, you know the upside could be immense, but at least the floor is going to be extremely high as well. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. I think this overall it's pretty solid, but again, I just did it. It's my mock draft. You tell me. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing as always. Until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.